So one of the most closely watched races in New York State is that of State Attorney General. Letitia James, who is hoping to keep her job, is facing Republican Michael Henry in next month's general election. Now, earlier polling had James ahead by double digits, but let's talk about the recent polls because they show the race is tightening.
Mr. Henry has said he is a political outsider who's dedicated to fighting crime, corruption, and the rising cost of living in New York. Michael Henry joining us on Good Day New York. Nice to have you here.
Thank you for having this morning.
So you're a civil attorney, right?
Correct.
And you've never run for office before.
Nope.
Why? Why now?
Because just like every other New Yorker and most of your viewers, I'm a private citizen who's frustrated with the crime crisis, corruption crisis, cost of living crisis. And you see that people are living in fear as criminals do what they want, whenever they want, wherever they want, because of this no fear, no consequence mentality. And the problem with this office is for far too long it's been utilized for one of two reasons. The first one is to become the next governor, which Letitia James clearly failed to do. The second one is to weaponize it against political opponents, which she's going to continue to do. And I believe as an outsider, I could bring a level of competency, efficiency, and integrity to this office where there is none, because when this office is focused on the goals of the office and not being used as a stepping stone, you could effectuate a lot of good change for the people
So
of the
Michael, you know, it's interesting because you don't have the name recognition, right? But yet the polls are showing you're very close with Letitia James.
Yeah.
Why is she vulnerable?
She's vulnerable because of her performance. She's very out of touch with the people of this state. The people of this state see she's more of a political activist than an attorney general. And I've been focused on my message discipline. I focus on the issues that are important to the people. In addition to crime, corruption, and cost of living in our ethnic communities, education is a big issue. So I focus on what transcends party affiliation. I know that in New York, I have to represent Republicans, independent, common sense Democrats to get across the finish line. So I focus on the issues that transcend party affiliation, and she's focused on issues that are going to build her own political portfolio and make her a national icon among the left.
Let's talk about some of those issues because at number one would be crime, especially for your campaign
Right.
is crime, but it's somewhat out of your jurisdiction. So what would you actually be able to do to curb crime if you win this role?
That's not necessarily true. Number one, you work in conjunction with local district attorneys. Number two, you could work with federal task force, and there are also task force within the Attorney General's office. You could also introduce program bills to the legislature to create public policy that could effectuate positive change. The other thing is you could use the bully pulpit, as Letitia James says, to push for the full repeal of cashless bail, to push for the full repeal of less is more. The other thing is you have a lot of authority when it comes to public corruption, and public corruption needs to be treated like the crime that it is. The taxpayers of New York should not be subsidizing the re-election campaign of Kathy Hochul. So there's a Public Integrity Bureau, which in 2011, the comptroller actually expanded the authority of the Attorney General to investigate, where taxpayer funds were going, contracts. There's a charity bureau that could audit not-for-profits. So there are things that you can do in the purview of the office if you have the will and if you do it the right way.
I think the interesting thing is that we see these races kind of come down and they're getting tighter. We want to see debates. We want to see, two people going at it with each other, talking about these issues. But that's not happening for you because why? Because you said yes to a certain debate on November 2nd. Your opponent has said nothing.
Because she sees the polls. What is she going to answer for? Is she going to answer for the 36% rise in major crime in New York City in the last year? Is she going to answer for a 25-year high in subway killings? Is she going to answer for a 34% rise in crime in Nassau County, 3-year increase in crimes in Buffalo? Rochester has a higher murder rate than the city of Chicago. Kathy Hochul's apparently giving out government contracts in return for maxed out campaign contributions. What is Letitia James going to answer for?
What would you say to Letitia James right now?
Let's debate. Let's debate and give the people of the state of New York what they deserve to hear. You've advocated for cashless bail your whole professional career. You campaigned on it in 2010. You got what you wanted. It failed. You accepted the Working Family Party endorsement, which said you cannot take police and correctional union support, nor could you revisit any changes to cashless bail. And you recently said you needed more data before you'd revisit any changes to cashless bail. And quite frankly, that's a despicable mindset for the chief law enforcement officer of a state to have, because more data means more victims, and one victim is one victim too many.
All right, let's talk a little bit about you. You are the son of a retired Mount Vernon detective and a surgery center manager. Your mom, right?
Yeah.
And from the Bronx.
My mother's from the Bronx.
Okay, so what else do we need to know about Michael Henry?
Well, I'm a commercial litigator. Prior to that, I was actually in the mortgage industry, so I had management experience. The law is actually my second career. And I own my own commercial litigation firm. I do a lot of asset recovery, basically go after people who rob my clients, creditor bankruptcy, things like that.
Rob my clients. Good to know.
And then I also have done some asylum work for people from China who've been persecuted for being Christian and Catholic. And I think what people have to understand is this race, more than anything, is about judgment. And I believe that I have the judgment, and I also, as a political outsider who has no higher political ambitions than being the Attorney General.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
Right.
Do you want to be governor of New York State at some point?
No, I want to be the best Attorney General, and if I only serve 4 to 8 years and never ran for political office again, I'd be perfectly happy with that.
Do you think Letitia James running for the governor of New York, you know, moments after she, you know, basically went after Andrew Cuomo, is a problem?
Absolutely. She botched the investigation. She handicapped the local district attorneys from being able to prosecute this matter. And she does not want to be the Attorney General of the state of New York. She wants to be the governor of the state of New York. Michael Henry wants to be the Attorney General, which will allow me to do what needs to be done for the people.
She's gone after a lot of high-profile people. I mean, she seems pretty fearless.
But she's afraid to debate me, so she can't be too fearless.
Michael Henry, there you are. Man who wants to be Attorney General of New York. The polls right now got you right there.
That's right. We also have to add that we have extended this invitation to Attorney General Letitia James, and we have not heard back yet.
Yeah, we've asked her a few times now, right?
Yes, but we do appreciate you being here.
Come on, Tish, we're ready for you.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, thank you. All the best.